Even people who have played with multiple all-time greats are surprised that Kobe Bryant never knew how to take a day off from basketball. How does he manage to stay motivated through the course? How did he develop such a dedicated habit of good work ethics? In this video, we'll talk about all these in detail, so make sure you stick with me to the end. So without any further delay, let's get into it. Kobe Bryant treats every practice like a game. The fact that the Black Mamba worked hard is not a secret. Kobe was always in the gym during his 20-year career. And by gym, I mean the Staples Center, now Crypto.com Arena practice courts, which were the 5-time NBA champion's second home. Even his teammates and coaches got tired of how little he cared about anything but basketball, just like those of his idol Michael Jordan. Also, Kobe Bryant, a 5-time champion, told LeBron James that every practice should be treated like a game so that he can win more. So the 18-time All-Star used to forget the limits that keep a man sane and let him keep his work life separate from his personal life. When he did this, he would forget that he was the only one in that zone and think that his teammates and coaches were there with him. Former Lakers coach Byron Scott remembers Kobe Bryant texting him at 4 a.m. Scott played with Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and James Worthy and won 3 championships with them, so he knew a lot about how hard all-time greats worked. But when he became the coach of the LA Lakers in 2014, he saw something new in Kobe that he had never seen before. You must be wondering why Bryant has had trouble the last 2 years, right? Well, it's because of an injury. After he reached his limit in year 18, not even injuries could stop him from giving his all in the last few years. His old coach told a story from 2016, Bryant's last year in the NBA and his last year as a coach. Kobe really gave it his all because he loved sports and wanted to be as good as Michael Jordan. Even when it seemed like he couldn't do it, he didn't just give up and let his body heal like everyone else. The Mamba didn't let this way of thinking slip for even one day until his last day in the league. It was how he lived his life. Even after he retired, he kept that work ethic until he got here. In other news, let's discuss the 6 stories to follow from the Spanish NBA in the 2022-23 season. The 2022-23 NBA season comes with a very positive outlook for Spanish players. All of them entered this course with renewed illusions, and most of them with a unique opportunity to vindicate themselves and establish themselves in their respective teams. Willy Hernangomez and Santi Aldama are the ones who have the best prospects to have many minutes, thanks to the situation in the Pelicans and Grizzlies. The great unknowns will be the cases of Usman Garuba, Juancho Hernangomez, and Serge Ibaka, who have a notable rivalry in their respective positions. Finally, Ricky Rubio will have to wait until he recovers to be able to consider what his year will be like. With all this in mind, the official website of the NBA in Spain will analyze the keys and the most important stories to follow in this course for national players. Let's start with the confirmation of Willy Hernangomez, shall we? After a long time of working in the shadows, Willy Hernangomez has finally obtained tangible results. The MVP achieved at Eurobasket 2022 is not only a blow on the table at an individual level, but also a warning that he can be a multi-dimensional figure on the court, something that has been systematically doubted in recent campaigns. Although it is an anecdotal fact, since 2009, all the players who won the MVP of the European tournament were all-star in the season that followed. The man from Madrid is facing some extremely important months for his future in the NBA, and that is that the New Orleans Pelicans have a team option that they can execute before June 29th. A date that seems very far away, but whose decision will be made based on what he can do in this course. Willie has made it clear that he wants to take advantage of his great form and that the only way to do so is to have a few minutes that he has earned in recent months. At the age of 28, Hernangomez has evolved to become a substitute midfielder with guarantees, capable of adapting to any scenario and, above all, offering positive numbers. If Willie Green chooses to consolidate him as the substitute for Valanciunas and that he has more playing time, the man from Madrid will surely be up to the challenge. bench. Next, we'll look into the complex situation of Juancho Hernangomez. In contrast to his older brother, Juancho is not going to have anything easy about the new challenge before him. Indeed, the forward is coming off an excellent tournament, being key in Spain's gold medal in the final, but the chances of him transferring that momentum to the NBA are rather slim. The landing of Hernangomez in the Raptors occurs after he was transferred 4 times in the span of 7 months, something that detracted a lot from his figure and did not allow him to be constant. Although Toronto is a place where there have been stories of players who have surprised, there is a notable overpopulation in the position of the Madrid player. At power forward alone, there were 3 players who should be ahead of him in the rotation solely by stripes: Siakam, Achua, and Butcher, while at forwards Barnes, Porter Jr., and Anunoby. Things don't get any better. If we add to this the fact that Nick Nurse is a coach who does not tend to rotate much, even in the regular season, the margin for Juancho being able to go out and play constantly is minimal unless there is a long-term injury. In short, this is the story that has been defining the trajectory of the Spaniard in recent campaigns. It's truly a circumstance that can hardly be related to his level of play or his impact on the court, and one more year will define his NBA course. Next is the moment of confirmation of Santi Aldama. The Canarian player's first season was positive, although limited by his own progression and adaptation to the league and the fact that he joined a team that was on the rise like the Grizzlies. Even so, Aldama left very good feelings, especially in the G League, where he ended up averaging 28.3 points and 11.3 rebounds in his last 5 games. With this in mind, history seems to be repeating itself in Memphis for another season. What does this mean? Well, in recent seasons, it has been common for the youngsters of the franchise not to have a very brilliant or extremely outstanding first year, to explode in their sophomore year. The best example of this is found in Aldama's summer league, where he was included in the second-best quintet, proof that the power forward is in a position to consecrate himself within the promising project of the Grizzlies. And this is not a set phrase, but the circumstances play in his favor. In the case of Ricky Rubio, the most important thing for health. The only Spanish player who will not be available to play on match day 1 will be Ricky Rubio, who is in the final stretch of his recovery. The Cavs point guard suffered a torn anterior cruciate ligament in his left knee and has started training with contact in recent days. So beyond dates, the most important thing for Ricky is to return when his body so decides. That is, to avoid any type of risk at all costs. This is the second injury to the same knee in his career, something to consider given his age. So being cautious in this matter is vital. Next up, let's talk about a blank canvas for Usman Garuba. In a way, it could be said that in this month of October, Usman Garuba's NBA career really begins. All the conditions and problems that weighed down the Manchego in the previous year and that prevented him from playing in absolute terms for a long period of time are part of the past, and nothing could be more positive for the former Real Madrid player than this, since now Garuba is a much more mature player, more prepared, and who has worked in the gym and on the track to earn a place in the Rockets. Wrapping it all up, here is a new role for Serge Ibaka. The complicated injuries that have marked the last few years of Serge Ibaka have considerably changed the final stretch of his career in the NBA, a circumstance that has relegated him to occupy a different role within the teams, in this case the Milwaukee Bucks, but that after an entire offseason to prepare could be different. In the team led by Mike Budenholzer, the Hispanic African aims to be an important piece from the inside, that is, in the locker room. Despite this, those from Wisconsin repeat a squad that is practically identical to that of the last courses, with very marked functions, so Ibaka should not have any problems playing regularly. That concludes today's video. If you found the video helpful, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. See you next time.